he says in this generation, there really isn't many people. There are some, obviously. There's always exception to rules, but there aren't many people that accept anyone as a rabbi. Anyone as a rabbi. Because people like to get multiple opinions, but they're not necessarily looking for multiple opinions because they're looking for the truth. They're multiple opinions because they're shopping around. They're shopping around for Rav Noach. What's Rav Noach? The lenient rabbi. Who is the one that's going to tell me it's allowed? Now, there's a rule. There's a rule of how to ask questions that people violate on a regular basis. There's a very big rule that people violate. And if you remember the story I told you that's in the Gemara, there was a big fight. There was a big fight between in a Beit Din, Rabban Gamliel and Rabbi Yoshua. There was a big fight because somebody asked Rabban Gamliel, are Jews allowed to do certain things? And he says, allowed. He goes, yeah, but Rabbi Yoshua said not allowed. Rabbi Yoshua said not allowed. He goes, okay, so wait. And ask it again when he comes, when everybody else comes to the kollel. And then he asked it again, and there was a big balagan after that. He asked again, and he gave the same answer. And Rabban Gamliel said, does anybody have a different opinion? Rabbi Yoshua said, no, no one has a different opinion. He says, well, but I have a student over here that says you do have a different opinion. So really, the root of the problem is not the different opinion. The root of the problem is the same problem that we have today, believe it or not. This problem has not been fixed in 2,000 years, 2,500 years maybe. What's the problem? There's a specific law of how to ask questions that they did not follow. This Talmid caused problems not because of his question. He caused problems because of the way he asked the question. When you are asking a second rabbi, you asked one rabbi, yes or no. He said whatever he says yes or no. If you're going to ask a second rabbi, you could ask as many rabbis as you want. You could ask an infinite amount of rabbis. You could ask, I don't know, I just got 15,000 rabbis, a list of 15,000 rabbis. You want to ask all 15,000? Go ask 15,000. But there's a rule of how to ask. What's the rule? You have to tell them which rabbi told you what before you ask the question. Along the question. Meaning, listen, am I allowed to do A, B, C? Rabbi so-and-so said yes. What's your opinion according to your understanding of halacha? Rabbi so-and-so said yes. Do you agree? Disagree? That's how you ask questions. You're not allowed to ask a question, say, what do you think? Yes or no, as if it's a brand new question and you never asked anybody. And then he answers you, and he says no. He goes, yeah, but Rabbi so-and-so said yes. Why? Because number one, you're creating machloket. Number two, maybe Rabbi so-and-so knows you better, and to you it's no. This rabbi doesn't know you. So for example, there was a couple of Talmidim came to a rabbi, and they said, Kvod Harav, first one comes to him, he says, Kvod Harav, I know we have laws in the yeshiva that everybody has to go to sleep at 10 p.m., but I'm really trying to finish the Shas this year, and I want to learn for an extra 2 hours. So can I go to sleep at 12? Rabbi says, absolutely, do it. Second guy right after him, they were right next to each other. Second guy said, yeah, Kvod Harav, I'm going to try to do the same thing. I want to finish the Shas. I want to learn an extra 2 hours. Can I go to sleep at 12 o'clock? No. Wait a minute. You just told my friend he's allowed. Why am I not allowed? It's not fair, right? It seems like it's not fair. But the rabbi knows his students. Says this guy, he shows up early to Netz. Netz is already at 6 o'clock in the morning. He shows up at 4:30 to study an extra hour and a half before prayer. You barely show up at 6:30. You're a half hour late every day, so if you sleep less, you're not going to show up at all. Maybe you're not going to show up the whole week if you don't sleep. So you are not allowed to sleep less. You must come. You must sleep. So there's certain laws for certain people based on the rabbi's knowledge of his own students. So it's not that there's different opinions in the Torah, there's different based on the students. Now if you're a brand new student, I'm not necessarily going to tell you all the details of Gehenom. Why? Because you'll break. But if you're a veteran student, maybe I'll tell you 1% of what I know about it. Why? Because even if I tell you 2, you'll probably break anyway. Simply because it's tough. It's tough to do. Now, for anybody out there, just so you know, in the Or Israel, Rabbi Israel Misalan says there are some people, you tell them about punishment, tell them about Genom, tell them about this, all these different things, and they like it. Certain people, I know some people, they like it. I was one of them. They like hearing about Genom, they like it. It's scary, but they like it. He says those people, it's not that they like it because they like to hear about bad things. They like it because unfortunately they have such a big yetzara, such a klipa, they're numb. They're numb. They've become numb to pain. They've become numb to really the truth. And you have to continue teaching them to keep peeling it off, because eventually they're going to really understand what you said in the first shiur. It's not that you need to tell them everything about Genom. It's that even the basics of what you tell them, they're numb, they're not feeling it, they're not really comprehending 100%. The neshama is not accepting everything 100% to really understand the level of magnitude of the sin, the consequence of the sin. Because the neshama is numb. So certain people are numb, certain people are dead, certain people are in the middle. So anyway, if you like to hear about stuff like that, it's not necessarily a compliment. It's not necessarily the greatest thing. It's not a bad thing either. It's just you should know that you need to work on Yirat Shamayim. That's what Rabbi Yisrael Misalan says. So, Rav Tzion Abba Shaul says, if I'm your rabbi, it's a big deal. It's a big responsibility. I don't want that responsibility for just anyone. If you're tzaddik, you're going to listen to everything I say, no problem. If you're not, I don't want it. I don't want the responsibility. So, moving on, Ben Azai continues and he says, chase the mitzvot, chase them as much as you can, because the most important part is for you to understand that the smallest mitzvah could open up Gan Eden for you. Smallest mitzvah. The tiniest thing could open up the next big mitzvah. There's a Rav Yehuda Leib, Ashlag, says a story, says that how do you know if someone is doing his mitzvot the right way? If he has kavanah. How do you know? If he's chasing new mitzvot, that means he has kavanah. That means when he does mitzvot, he's doing it with his full heart. He's doing it with full passion. Why? Because if he's doing the mitzvah the right way, he's getting joy out of it also. That means he's going to want more. But if he is doing the mitzvah just to do it, he goes to Beit Knesset because he knows he has to go to Beit Knesset. He calls his wife because he knows he has to call his wife. He eats kosher because that's what they fed him. He went to to this, and he went to shul, and he went to this, and he does everything because he has to do it. Like one of those, 12-year-olds who doesn't want to go. No, I don't want to go, Ima, I don't want to go. Like one of those. He's like that, but he's 37. I don't want to go to the minyan, I don't want to go. But you have to. One time there was a guy, starts screaming in the morning, no. You have to wake up. Okay, in a few minutes. No, come on, you got to wake up. Shlomo, you have to wake up. No, come on, you have to go to school. I don't really want to go. I'm not going. I'm not going. No, come on, you have to go. Come on, Shlomo, you have to go. I'm not going. I'm not going. They hate me over there. They make fun of me. They abuse me all the time. I'm not going. Shlomo, you have to go. No, come on, get up. It's already 8 o'clock. You have to go. I'm not going. They hate me. They're always abusing me. They're always beating me up. I just can't. I'm not doing it. Shlomo, you're the principal. Second joke in one shiur, I got house. You guys no more jokes. That's it. You guys are fired. No more jokes. Internet, you laughing? I got one. I got a couple of smileys. You guys are killing me. You guys, tough crowd. You guys are serious people. You guys don't want to learn about Genom. Don't want jokes.
I've heard enough. New arrival screams echoing through the hallway to know that this ain't good. Once they pass them through the infierno, they don't come back. It's enough to make you go crazy.
Do not think we fear you, Spirit. We know your power is born of evil. This is your last night in the land of the living. You understand me, malevolent demon?
There was a rich family that lived here called the Hetheringtons, and unfortunately, their daughter passed away of a heart attack inside the house. Basically, they were so devastated that they reached out to people claiming to be psychic mediums. They actually weren't psychic mediums. They opened up a total of 11 portals inside this house and invited spirits and entities from all different kinds of dimensions.
Well, I think there are certain pieces of evidence that there is an afterlife.
Resurrection of the dead is affirmed pretty clearly in the Talmud and the Midrash.
To be honest with you, to give this lecture is a nightmare. If it was up to me, I wouldn't. There's going to be some graphic details.
This place is a maze.
That person after death went to a place called Sheol.
This is by far the largest near-death experience study that has ever been conducted.
People go to a place and they experience weird things. And sometimes they actually will see a character of some type. Well, where did that come from?
I don't know why that one chain is swinging back there.
They may describe feeling profoundly peaceful, seeing a bright, warm, welcoming light. Some people describe watching doctors and nurses working on them with incredible accuracy.
Next thing I knew, I was above my body watching the operation.
How long did you feel like you were gone?
I went to a place of timelessness. And so what that means, it could have been a second, could have been 5 minutes. I don't know.
Can you imagine waking up from your sleep and not being able to move?
As I'm lying there, I realized that there's an evil presence next to me.
Do you believe that angels, demons exist?
Holy shit, dude, get out of here! Oh my god, dude!
Strange things keep happening. Bizarre nightmares, as if I'm on fire.
Whoa, what the hell is this? Man, I've got bad chest pain.
Satan's Hollow is what it's called, the portal to hell.
Some people calling it an eye of fire, while others said it looked like the portal to hell opening up.
And the next thing I know, I was outside of my body, looking at my body.
What I'm going to do is called claromancy, the art of throwing lots or throwing bones.
2,000 years of experience, passed down, recorded, of how demons work.
God has them all on a leash,
And he lets the leash go enough to let them tempt us, because that's what makes us spiritually stronger.
I'm trying to be as graphic as possible so you understand what we're talking about.
It's your ticket to reality. It's your ticket to freedom. It's your ticket to immortality.
Is there an afterlife? Is there a
It's
God?
the type of information that can keep you away from the Yetzirah.
What happens to us after we die?